Of course, as you know, I love doing these webinars, but I love doing my intros too. I said who I am, but let's talk about who our special guest is today. Is this your first webinar of the year? I want to know. Send me some
Yep.
hearts. And it's Jason's too. So this is Jason Yearwood, who's the Business Development Officer with Barbados Tourism Marketing. How are you, Jason?
Hello, good afternoon, Sabrina. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm doing well, thanks. Hope that everyone is doing well today.
It's amazing. Well, we're excited. We've got agents from across the country, and I think everybody has one thing in common. They want to know more and remember more and be refreshed about Barbados. So we're here for what's new.
Mhm.
I know that you're always so gracious, so thank you. I know you've provided a prize. I'll just do the quick housekeeping to remind everyone. Only if you're not on Zoom. So if you're on Zoom, don't worry about this. But if you're on Facebook or any of the other channels, please add in your email so we can enter you in the draw. We will be giving away, courtesy of Barbados Tourism Marketing, of course, a $100 Visa gift card. What would you use that for? Tell us in the chat. We want to see that. And if you have any questions, speaking of the chat, let's keep that for chatting. And if you have any questions, we would love to help you answer them. Just help us out by putting them in the Q&A. They do get lost in the chat box. So don't put them in the chat, put them in the Q&A because you have got the guru of Barbados right here, a real live Barbadian. I actually almost wanted to tell you don't forget ma in my email, Jason. We have a webinar coming up. And I was like, can I say that? Is that weird?
Don't
So
forget my
I
yeah.
remember from our
You got
last
it. You
webinar.
got
So
it.
I love how you teach us all about the culture. So without further ado, I'm going to allow you to move on and move forward and let us know all the great new things that there are in Barbados. I'll see you all at
Yeah,
the Q&A.
no problem. Thank you so much, Sabrina. And I always want to make the webinars fun, through the topics and the titles and the content given. So that was great to hear you say, "Don't forget, man." That's true Beijing right there. When you invited everyone to put in the chat where they're logging in from, I almost wanted to say that I'm logging in from Barbados, because I actually returned from Barbados just last Friday evening. So if any of you online are familiar with me and have done webinars with me before, you may see that I'm looking a little bit toasty. That's because I was in Barbados for about 3.5 weeks, really soaking up that sunshine. So, it was really good to be there, to be at home, but it's really good to be here as well to share with you more about Barbados, more about what's happening as well. So, you recall that from my presentations, we always speak about Barbados, who we are, where we're located, different things to enjoy about our product. So, as a quick verbal recap, Barbados, we are in the southeastern Caribbean. We are closer to Trinidad and Tobago and St. Vincent and Grenadines and Grenada, but we're the most easterly island in the Caribbean region. All right. We do have lots of direct flights across the eastern border of the USA going directly to Barbados. I would have shared that with you over time. And if you need a refresher on that, you can always email me as well. We have direct flights from Atlanta, from Miami, from New York, of course, where I'm based, from Boston and Charlotte and Philadelphia as well, and a few other cities slightly. But the point is that we do have a lot of direct flights. But on this occasion, I wanted to, since it's the first webinar for Barbados Visible Agent for this year, I wanted to connect on what's new in Barbados. So right here on the screen is one of our newer brochures, what's new in Barbados. If you haven't seen it already, it is hyperlinked and featured on the Barbados landing page on Sport Agent's website. So I encourage you, when you have a moment, to check that out. But I want to go through a bit of it with you here, as we're on the call today. So, what's new in Barbados? You recall that our product is a melting pot of a product, so there's something there for everyone. All right. And we have some imagery of some of the hotels in Barbados. Pictured here is the Wyndham Grand Sandals Castle. All right. So kicking off the bat, we have what is new in Barbados from a hotel and accommodation perspective. So we have the Marriott Group. They will be continuing their renovations across the island of the hotels in Barbados. They have 7 hotels in Barbados. 6 of them are all inclusive, and many of them have reopened already with their renovations having been completed. I believe Turtle Beach and Tamarind, those are the last two that will be finishing by spring of this year. And then that will see the combination of all of their hotels, all 7 of them being completed with the renovations in Barbados. So we have the Marriott Group, so Colony Club. So Colony Club is not all inclusive. There, they are a luxury collection. It is now open after a multi-million dollar restoration. It's set on the prestigious Platinum West Coast, and it overlooks tropical gardens, lagoon-style pools, and the Caribbean Sea. All right, Treasure Beach is the art of relaxation. Every detail is designed to delight, from the cocktails, the culinary masterpieces, the painting and wine tasting. This is a property that is suited for those who are into food and what they call the Epicurean lifestyle. So this is something that those persons can focus into. This one is adults only, and Treasure Beach is also an all-inclusive. We come down with the Marriott Group, the house. They are also all inclusive. So too is the Waves Hotel and Spa. Now the house is a small all inclusive, 39 exclusive rooms, luxury all inclusive, intimate beachfront. And they have beautiful architecture, rich mahogany accents, sleek granite bathrooms, and creates an atmosphere that is understated elegance. And if you've never been to the house before, you'd be driving and you would think that you would have passed it, and it is very unassuming from the road. But once the gates pull back for your car to come in, your taxi, your car rental, whatever have you, it's a very beautiful entryway, and it's very, very luxurious. I've had the pleasure of staying there before, and it was quite well. This is an adult only all inclusive as well. Excuse me. Turn our attention to the Waves Resort and Spa. So the Waves again, all inclusive, one of the all inclusives in the Marriott Group. A general reminder, Marriott Group, they have 7 hotels in Barbados. 6 of them are all-inclusive. The Waves is one of them as well. And the Waves, they have a hybrid all-inclusive, if I can use that terminology. So they have a beach side, which is for families, and then there's also the adults only side, which is called the spa side. That's just for adults. In total, they have 70 rooms, and they do a fantastic job there as well. It offers a relaxing, all-inclusive escape with a spa and treatments, wellness activities, water sports, and oceanfront dining. A quick note about the house, Treasure Beach, and Tamarind. They all sit side by side. So you can walk from the house to Tamarind in the middle to Treasure Beach on the right hand side, depending on your direction. And I believe that the Marriott, you can do exchange privileges as well, where in you're staying at the house, you can go to Tamarind for some you know, their restaurant and enjoy the hotel there as well. So you have some exchange privileges within the Marriott group. But the house, Tamarind, and Treasure Beach, they all sit side by side. So it gives you a bigger beach to really enjoy as well, knowing that you're next to family properties, again, different experiences that you can enjoy as well. And there normally is a water taxi that goes in between the hotels. So when it comes to the Marriott Group, like I said, 7 hotels in Barbados. You have 6 of them on the west coast and one is on the south coast. So being that 6 of them are on the west coast, you can take the water taxi and go in between them for the exchange privileges. All right. Continuing on with Crystal Cove, a storybook escape. It's a beautiful village set along the pristine cove. It invites you to laugh, to love, and to live fully as you connect with loved ones. It really is a vibrant property, and they are within their Marriott All Inclusive's tribute portfolio. And then you have Tamarind, soon finish their renovations. Sun, Sea, and the Soul of Barbados. At Tamarind, hospitality takes a naturally simple, heartfelt approach, rooted in local culture, and every aspect of your stay, creates an authentic, effortless experience. And I want to say that when I was in Barbados a couple of years ago, when they were doing some model rooms, I saw the model room of Tamarind. And I must say, if it can be a little bit biased, that their room was the most beautiful that I saw compared to what was there before and what they're doing now with renovations that will soon come to a close. Is really night and day. And if you go to Tamarind, you will really, really enjoy it. This will be one of the family hotels. So Tamarind, Crystal Cove, and the Waves. Those will be for families as well as Turtle Beach. And I can assure you that your clients will have a wonderful time at Tamarind. All right. And continuing on, we have some more accommodations. We have Turtle Beach, like I told you before. They're also continuing their renovations and they will soon be finished. Set along the south coast in St. Lawrence Gap, which is a hive of activity for tourism and travel in Barbados. Turtle Beach will offer a wonderful experience for families as well. Great for kids. Parents can unwind and have a grand time at Turtle Beach. Sugar Bay Barbados as well. This no is not part of the Marriott Group. Sugar Bay Barbados is a different all-inclusive. So we're moving on from the Marriott Group to another all-inclusive in Barbados. And they have been doing some innovations as well. Atop their top floor, they now have a three-bedroom luxury oceanfront penthouse. Now, Sugar Bay Barbados is a sister hotel to Bougainvillea Barbados, and Sugar Bay Barbados is all inclusive. All right, so they have been doing some renovations, and they have now a top floor, three-bedroom luxury oceanfront penthouse, which redefines island luxury. It's expansive, it's elegantly designed, and they have some great sophistication. It's great for groups, great for families as well, and some beautiful, breathtaking views to soak in. All right. Then we come on the line to some more accommodations that have recently opened in Barbados. South Point Hotel is one of them, 47 contemporary suites spread across six modern buildings. So one of the smaller accommodations in Barbados is a boutique escape, great for travelers who want comfort and style, and they offer a very, very beautiful product. Then we have Blue Monkey Hotel and Beach Club. I want to let you know that between 2025 and 2028, there will be lots of hotel accommodations coming to Barbados or being renovated. So we're seeing the first batch of this. So with the Marriott Group, with Sugar Bay, South Point, and now Blue Monkey, they are doing a fantastic job. So Blue Monkey Hotel and Beach Club is a new accommodation in Barbados. It's intimate, it's atmospheric, and it's extraordinarily curated. And it's made for those who want to do some exploration and kind of thing. So it's very beautiful, and it's named after one of the monkeys that you see in Barbados. Not necessarily the blue monkey in Barbados; it's the green monkey, but nonetheless, it's a monkey, and it takes that symbolization as well. Then we have Royalton Pheasants. Adult only. It should be opening by June of this year. Beautiful accommodation on Buckingham Coast. Royal Investments, of course, will bring much more allure to Barbados as part of the autograph collection of Marriott. And they will have a 220 suite resort offer contemporary design focused on wellness, creativity, and Caribbean charm. So that's something again to really look out for. All right. So we're continuing to look at what's new in Barbados. We've given a brief overview of some new accommodations coming to Barbados, or those that have done some renovations that are open and will be opening this year. I want to say that Hotel Indigo, they are also just about open as well. When I was on island for the last few weeks, I did pass it a few times. It looks very beautiful from the outside, and I can see that they're ramping up their operations too. So that you can look into as well. Hotel Indigo in Barbados as well. Right. Moving on to the culinary side of things, we have some newness when it comes to the culinary product of Barbados. And you will always remember, right, that when I do webinars, I always speak about the food in Barbados and how inexpensive it is, etc. All right. So you can really, really enjoy Barbados from that perspective. So we're gonna look at some options there in Barbados where culinary is concerned. So we have Saki Barbados. This is a combination of artistry and ambition. It is an elevated Asian-inspired Barbados dining experience. It's blending Japanese traditions with modern flair and offers a sensory escape. So if you're into Asian cuisine with blending it with Barbadian tradition, Saki is something that you can go to. Then we have Uva Barbados, one of the top restaurants in Barbados as well, opened last year. Uva is a modern, welcoming restaurant designed to bring people together through bold flavors, warm and inviting atmosphere. Executive Chef Damien Leach, one of our British top chefs, he says that Uva is more than what's on the plate. It's about bringing people together in a beautiful setting. And Chef Damien, along with his team, his wife, they do a fantastic job. It has a Mediterranean inspiration, and they do a great, great job. And if any of you know Chef Damien, he's one of Barbados' best chefs, and not just in Barbados, but of course the Caribbean, and internationally acclaimed. So Chef Damien will do a wonderful job. He's the same chef that heads up Cocktail Kitchen. If you're familiar with Cocktail Kitchen in St. Lawrence Gap, this is the same chef who has he and his team. They have a new upscale dining experience called Uva Barbados. All right. Then we have Blush Cafe after opening in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Blush Cafe blew Barbadians and guests away with their pleasing environment, beautiful environment, great for photos and relaxation, everything else. Everything is in pink. So for those who love the color pink, they can enjoy that as well. And have very, very wonderful food there. I always see a lot of locals, they frequent Blush, and they have nothing but good things to say. Normal Barbados offers a casual dining experience. It's on the coastline of Barbados. All right. And they have expertly crafted dishes made with great seasonal ingredients. And they have a very beautiful scenic deck. So again, more options to enjoy when it comes to dining in Barbados. And you recall that our dining spans the luxury dining to the casual dining to the local spots. Let's not forget oysters. That will always be number one on my list from a local perspective. I was there. I went to oysters about 3 times when I was home in Barbados. You can't go wrong at all. 15 US for fish, rice, two salads. You really can't go wrong. I can serve you twice as well. All right. So even look at the new experiences, we are reminded that Barbados has much more to offer within these different segments. All right. So we spoke about the accommodations, we spoke about the culinary experiences. Now we look at the experiences itself because again, we want that when you come to Barbados, you can come out and enjoy the island. All right. So here we have now Dine with a Beijing. This is something that our headquarters recently, late last year, that they reinvented. This was something that was done many years ago, but they came back with it this year, well, late last year, where you could dine with a Bajan. So we're not just speaking about culinary experiences, but this is an experience wherein you can go to local Barbadian homes who are partnering with the BTMA, and you could dine with the locals. You actually go to someone's house and you cook with them and you eat with them and fellowship with them, and it's very very beautiful. You really see how Bajan lifestyle in the homes really really go. So that adds a different feel to the options in Barbados there. All right. Just 1 second, please. Okay. Right, continuing on. Then we have now a festival coming up. It's called the All Stars Festival, which will return from March 14th to the 28th this year. And it's going to transform Hayman's Market along the West Coast and the Sand Street Bistro into a vibrant hub of comedy, cabaret, and opera. So this festival will open up on the 14th with a grand opera gala. All right, so you know that Barbados, we have many festivals across the island every single year, spanning different music segments and cultural segments as well. This year we have the All Stars Festival. It will open up on March 14th with the internationally acclaimed tenor Joseph Carriera, hope I pronounced that correctly. And then joining him will be sopranos Chantal Martin, who is Barbadian, Melinda Hughes, alongside tenor Nathan Richards, and I believe he's also Barbadian too. And Melinda, I think she's Barbadian as well. So we are showcasing not just international talent, but local talent who do a fantastic job. And then the week after, on the 21st, audiences can look out for a night of comedy featuring a major British comedian who will be announced at a later date. The festival will include performances from award-winning comedian and vocalist Jess Robinson and other international artists, and the festival will be an irresistible mix of music and comedy to delight audiences of all tastes. So if you're interested in that or your clients may be interested in that, visit allstarsfestival.org. And I always encourage you that when you come to Barbados, yes, you may come for a myriad of reasons to relax, you may come for food experiences, whatever have you. But if you come, whatever your reason is, make sure you enjoy some of the things happening on the island as well. And here is something that you can take in as well. Okay. The Commons Social Club, tucked away in plain sight, the common social clubs are gathering place for the cultural, creative, curious about film, theatre, and live music and art. So that's some place where you can come and really enjoy your time in Barbados, right there in Spicetown. And it's really great to see that some more life is coming to the area of Spicetown. Spicetown, as you recall, we have four towns in Barbados: Spicetown in the north, we have Whole Town on the west, Bridgetown the central, which is the capital city, and then you have Oistins in the south. And despite Stone, they used to be a major exportation hub of sugar and rum to Bristol, England, and it used to be called Little Bristol. Now, over time, many people moved towards Bridgetown, but Spicetown is already still a very, very historic community. It's still the hub of activity and holds a lot of importance and value to Barbados, especially in the northern environs of the country. So persons who live in St. Lucie and St. Peter, St. James, Spicetown would be their go-to. I was born in St. Michael, which is closer to Bridgetown. So Bridgetown was my go-to, but every parish has their go-to when it comes to towns in Barbados. So Town would be the go-to for those in the northern side. And having the Commons Social Club there, that is a great place as well for those who love music, who are creatives. It brings Town alive again. And this is some place that you can look into. For those of you who may have guests who will be coming to Barbados to beaches under the Sandals brand in years to come. This is located not far from there in Town. So here's something that people can take in outside of the hotel when they come to Barbados anytime to come. All right. Of course, you can't forget sustainability and mindful travel. So, around the world, everyone is doing their thing to, keep travel mindful and to, sustainability. So in Barbados, there's that too. You could do Walker's Reserve. You could do, visit Walker's Reserve and really contribute to the sustainability of Barbados when it comes to the offerings that we have from a natural perspective. It's a very, very beautiful environment, rich in biodiversity where individuals can connect and reconnect to the environment and building more resilient economies, ecosystems, and communities. So Walker's Reserve is great for education, for research, for design, and again, it gives you the opportunity to contribute to the sustainability of Barbados. Of course, you can't forget self adventure and nature. So again, we have more attractions happening here. So again, we're speaking about what's new in Barbados. So right off the bat, Graham Hall Nature Sanctuary. If any of you are familiar with Barbados, you'll recall the Graham Hall Swamp right there in the south of the island. For many years, actually, when I moved to Christchurch when I was 7 years old, Graham Hall Swamp was one of the features of my neighborhood. I live not too far from there. So sometimes we go down by the swamp, we do walks and tours and really explore, and it is very beautiful. I would see the birds flying, to the swamp on evenings after, they have their day out when it's sunset. And over the years, it closed down from people coming in and visiting and so forth. But I want to say last year they reopened as a nature sanctuary. So again, Graham Hall Swamp is Graham Hall Nature Sanctuary, I should call it its correct name. They are reopened on the picturesque south coast of Barbados. It's the largest remaining wetland in Barbados and it is truly an ecological gem. All right, so it's home to thriving red and white mangrove forests, and it shelters a variety of migratory and native bird species in Barbados, the green monkey as well, and other fascinating wildlife. So that is an additional tour that you can go to when you come to Barbados. Let me have hope while distillery. We can't get away from the rum. As you recall, Barbados is the birthplace of rum. Barbados, we would have produced the world's oldest rum, and we really, really spearheaded the rum market and the sugar production market back in the 17 and 1800s. So now we have Mount Gay rum, of course, and West Indies from the distillery of Plantaray. We also have Four Square and the rum produced by the St. Nicholas Abbey. Well, Hopewell Distillery at the Hopewell Plantation, they have reopened and they have rebuilt their plantation and their distillery after more than a century of being closed. So Hopewell Distillery revives the original methods of crafting rum, which is a natural byproduct of sugar production. You can see in the picture a lot of the infrastructure and pot stills that would have been restored where they're now producing rum again. So that, touches a bit on Barbados' history when it comes to us as a country, which you can explore now as a tourism destination. We have Bide Mill. So Bide Mill is a three-bedroom plantation grey house restored, nestled in the serene countryside. Their offerings are great. You can go there for lunch and do some exploration. So they do a fantastic job. And then, of course, you have Harrison's Cave and the Chukka Tour. So now they have a Harrison's Cave historic evening tram and a dinner show. So Harrison's Cave, as you will recall, those who are familiar with Barbados, not buffet with Barbados, Harrison's Cave, really the heart of Barbados. It really shows you the geological makeup of Barbados. Like I've said before in different presentations, Barbados, we sit to the far east of the Caribbean, Orca Islands or the Channel Islands. That's because our neighbors are all volcanic. So they're known as a volcanic arc islands, but Barbados are coral limestone. So Harrison's Cave gives you an inside view of that coral limestone makeup. And we sit to the far right hand side of the Arc Islands, and you go to the cave, you can see the stalactites, see stalagmites, see fresh water. Of course, we're coral limestone, so the water acts as a natural filter So you're able to see Barbados from that lens. But no, you have an evening historic tram tour followed by a dinner show. So you get a spectacular bit of nature and culture and entertainment. You go through the cave, which is illuminated on a guided tram ride. And then you head to the surface for a lively beach and buffet after and floor show. So you can't go wrong. Here's something that you can really enjoy again. And not just enjoy the sort of adventure of Barbados, also the linkages between the adventure and the culture of Barbados. Again, something that can add to your travel experience. You also have hotels offering pickleball. So for those who are into adventure, pickleball is becoming big in Barbados. So a lot of the top resorts are offering pickleball. So you want to keep active when you're there. You can do that right there in Barbados. So Apes Hill, Royal Westmoreland, Sandy Lane, Wyndham, Barbados Yacht Club, Sappy on the Bay, the Crane, Dibley Southwind, Southern Palms. The villages at Corvally, they're all offering pickleball. So if you want to get that sweat in, you can do pickleball as well right there in Barbados. All right. Family experiences. We have for past gaming. So if you have your kids, you want to get out and enjoy gaming in Barbados, here is something that you can do. I actually visited here last June with my son. He's two, but one of my friends, his son, who was celebrating a birthday, they were were past gaming and we went down. And it was very, very beautiful. You have the driving simulations, all of the who's who and the what's what in the gaming sphere, are there for everyone to enjoy. So that's something that everyone can do as a family. And then we have the Real Escape Barbados, our version of the escape room. So you're sent back to rescue one of our time traveling commanders, Jax Greenfield. But you're not lost in time. You have 45 minutes to find the clues and solve the puzzle to figure out where he went before the unrest reaches you and you're stuck. So that's something that the family can enjoy together, or a girlfriend getaway, guy trip, anything like that. Couples, can all do that together. Then, of course, you have the Morgan Lewis Sugar Mill, something great for families to explore. It remains the only windmill of its kind in Barbados, and Barbados, at the height of our sugar production, would have had over 100 of these windmills in Barbados, which would have been used towards creating energy for the production of sugar, grinding the cane, and extracting the juice, and grinding the cane to create sugar, etc. All right, so this is the only remaining one of its kind in Barbados, and this unique historic monument, is right there in Barbados that you can still go to and visit and explore and learn more about our history. So we always talk about the rum, but you can learn behind the rum how the sugar was the energy was created to grind sugar using human mills. So this is like yesteryear's wind turbine, if you will. Yeah, and lots of good history there as well. All right. G Fish Barbados, persons on the sea who are into activity, diving and whatnot. You can't miss out. You can do G Fish Barbados. You're taking on a PADI discovery dive. Um, there's no need for a PADI certificate, but you'll be able to go with the different divers and they take you on a nice, beautiful experience right there. Color Bay, swim turtles, snorkel over shipwrecks, kind of thing. Then you can do Sat Sail Barbados, family friendly, totally inclusive sailing club right there again on the south end of Carlisle Bay. Um, Perfect for swimmers, paddleboarders, kayakers. It makes for a great time for some maritime activities. All right. Then we can't forget that your island, Barbados, is a race, what they call a racecation. You could do a racecation in Barbados. So don't forget that in Barbados, there's something happening all the time with different things. So you can do the Garrison Savannah, their race. You could do um, because Arena Race, Sleeping Giant, Walker's Reserve, Forty Hill, and these things normally tie in with the Barbados the Barbados Marathon. So these dates are ready for last year's marathon season, but the Barbados Marathon is an annual event. The last sporting marathon in the world where you can qualify for the Boston Marathon. It is accredited by the National Athletic um, Administration as well. Um, and so you could enjoy these things in marathon and any other events happening around the marathon as well. All right. Can't forget cricket. Barbados is one of our top sports, cricket, CPL. This year again happened in the Caribbean, and there'll be some matches in Barbados where you can support the local team Barbados, who will play the other Caribbean islands as well, and you can really enjoy, part of Barbados' culture and history right there in Barbados. All right, so we've come to the end of the presentation. So again, we were looking at what's new in Barbados. We started off looking at the accommodations. We moved into culinary. We moved into some of the experiences, whether South Adventure, history, the windmills. We looked at food as well, some sports, some festivals, the All Star Festival, and this is just a small snippet of what's happening in Barbados. Of course, there's what's new, but there are other things coming new all the time, and of course, what is already there. So all in all, again, Barbados, we offer you a full 360 travel experience that when you leave, you can say that you had a wonderful, active, and memorable experience in Barbados, which is what we want you to have. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. And Sabrina, back over to you.
So very much. I want to play cricket on the beach and go to the marathon, all the things.
Yeah, man.
So
You good,
much to do, really. I feel like we have to go for a long time. We have lots of
yeah,
great questions coming in.
no worries.
And thank you for a wonderful, rich presentation. And Jason mentioned that he covered the what's new, but there's so much. There's a plethora of webinars and great educational tools, excuse me, of course, on this special, on the page that we have dedicated for Barbados on Spoiled Agent. As well, there's
Mm-hmm.
the Barbados Elite Club for Agents, and there's a Facebook group. So I'm going to throw those chats those notes and links in the chat box for all of you. If you have to run, not to worry, you've already qualified for the prize. But if you'd like to stay and learn a bit more from your colleagues that have asked a few questions, we're going to read those aloud. And yes, that brochure you can download. Tina, thanks for mentioning. That's at Spoiled Agent as well as Jason had mentioned. So someone is asking, do you have all inclusives?
Yeah, for sure. We have in excess of 20 all-inclusives in Barbados. You recall that in the section of this presentation for hotels, we touched on a few all-inclusives. Marriott Group, they are an all-inclusive group in Barbados. They have 7 hotels in Barbados. Only one of them is not all-inclusive, as that one is in their luxury collection, but the other 6 are all inclusives. Outside of Marriott, we have Sugar Bay Barbados, which we also spoke about. We have O2 Beach Club and Spa, which is a virtuoso property, and Seabreeze Beach House is also 2 sandals in Barbados. We're looking at Wyndham Grand Seminars Castle, the Sands Barbados Mango Bay. The list continues. So yes, there are plenty of inclusives in Barbados.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And are you planning to put more all-inclusive properties?
Yes, a few others are coming to the island. Royalton Investments will be all inclusive. Beaches is also coming to Barbados, and they've broken ground right there, so they're doing their work as well. So that will obviously be all inclusive under the Sandals Resort brand. Who else is coming? Hayat Ziva is coming as well. I can't recall if they're all inclusive, but they're coming to Barbados too. Hotel Indigo. Yeah, so we do have more all inclusives coming to Barbados for sure.
Wonderful. And this lucky agent says, I'll be in Barbados next week on a cruise. What's there to do near the port?
Yeah, so I would suggest a few things. Number one, you can do an island tour with any of the taxi drivers who are associated with the port. So after you disembark, you will see taxi drivers who are partners with the port, vetted, accredited and everything. You could do an island tour with them. They take you across the island. You could do a lunch stop with them as well, and you would just ask them their price and you could pay. Outside of that, you can do a rum tour at either Mount Gay Visitor Center, which is like 5 minutes away from the port, or West Indies Rum Distillery right there on Brighton Beach. They're also about 5 to 7 minutes away from the port. You can also do a tour of Bridgetown because our port is in Bridgetown. So there's a place called lately bowl food tours. If you could book with them, you could do a walking food tour right there in Bridgetown as well. So you do your tour. It's a history tour combined with a food tour. So you're doing some history of Bridgetown, but then because Bridgetown is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so you're not just touring our town because you can. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so there are lots of great things to see there. But then you make stops along the way, tasting some great cuisine in Barbados. Outside of that, if you just want to kick it by the beach, you can do that as well. You can take a taxi or one of the shuttles that goes to the boatyard, or Copacabana or Sabi on the Bay. I spent some time at the boatyard just last week, Monday, my family and I. And once you pay your entrance fee, you get some redeeming food, you get your beach chair, umbrella to the beach. You get snorkeling as well on the glass bottom boat. Different activities involved. You can also get back a free shuttle from the boatyard back to the port as well. So
Oh,
your options
wow.
are endless.
Lots included too on
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Okay. And do you know if any villas have private pools on the beach? Do any come to mind?
Um, no. So our beaches in Barbados are public. So you wouldn't have any private pools on the beach, and like right on the beach. But I will say that villas do have pools, and many villas are beachfront. And you can access the beach from your villa. Even though it's a public beach, I will let you know that in Barbados, people don't encroach. So if someone sees that it's a private property, it's a business, what have you, locals wouldn't encroach on that beach. And the government has done things in a way over the years that there is a public access. So let's say I'm at a private villa and there's a beach front. Okay, that's the beach where we can use, but there'll be a public access where if locals wanted to go to the beach as well, they will access it from a different area. All right, they wouldn't be coming onto your property and be like, "Oh, we can use this beach because it's free."
Hmm.
That wouldn't happen. All right, but many villas are beachfront and they have easy access to the beach as well. So, yeah, that is all possible in Barbados.
Okay. And this agent says, I have pickleball friends who are looking for resorts that have courts. Do you know of any that have that amenity?
Yeah, so let me just go back to that slide here for you because we did mention pickleball in the
Okay,
presentation.
perfect. And this could have come
Yeah, so
earlier. Yeah.
right here, so
There
we
you
have
go. Oh, wow.
Apes Hill, Roy Westmoreland, Wyndham Samura's Castle, the Crane. So in terms of hotels, all right, Samura's Castle, that's all inclusive. The Crane, um, Davy South Men's, Southern Palms, these are all hotels proper. Apes Hill, Roy Westmoreland, these are more like villa type accommodations. So I'm thinking, unless you're staying there, you can go in and you can see if you can play pickleball there, right? The Barbados Yacht Club, that is a club on the island itself. You can pay for entry. They do yachting, but they also have pickleball there, and so too Rockley Beach Club. The villages at Corvally, that is a residential area that has amenities included. So in fact, that's where I stayed when I was back home recently through Airbnb, to be honest. But it's a residential area, and many locals, will come in and use the amenities there. So there's a supermarket, there are restaurants, coffee shops, and also a pickleball area as well. Right. So if even you're not staying at the village at Corvally, they have a court that you can go to. But in terms of hotels with courts, Sandals Castle, Divi, Southern Palms, and the Crane.
Okay. And so I've just included a link to Spoiled Agent in the chat, and you'll find this brochure there as well, if you'd like to download or have that on hand. Excellent question we have here. How do you arrange dine with a Bayesian?
Right. That goes through our product department. What I can do for you is I could be a liaison between you and them if you're interested. That was launched from our headquarters here, so you can always shoot me an email. Sabrina could put my email in the chat, and you can shoot me a note. And if you're interested in that, I can connect you with our product team who can organize that for you because they're the ones who
Wonderful.
have trainings with the different Barbadians who signed on for this project, so they can connect you with persons in that sphere.
Brittany put a lovely, lovely comment in the chat. It's probably getting buried a little bit, but I would love to read it. The people of Barbados are so friendly and lively. It felt like one of the safest islands I've ever visited in the Caribbean. So welcoming and beautiful with so much to see and do. It's so easy to get around and get out of the resort. The musical talent of Barbados really stood out to me. Rihanna is just one of so many musical talents in Barbados. I left in December and I'm still dancing to the tunes in my head. Okay, Brittany, you need to be a travel writer also. Of course, you're a travel expert. That's beautiful, wonderful words. Thank you
Yeah,
for
no,
sharing
thank you.
that.
Thank
That's
you
from the
so much.
agent perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for citing Miss Brittany. And I mean, needless to say that I agree with you, but that's not because I'm a Barbadian, but because I have been privileged to experience Barbados from the tourism and travel side. Yeah, I was born there, I grew up there, I know all about it, but experiencing it from that side as well has also shown me, some of the things that you mentioned. You spoke about the musical talent. Outside of Rihanna, there are so many Barbadians who have done well on the international stage. If you're if you are an older travel agent, you may recall the Merry Men. Um, a group years ago. These gentlemen are very old in their 90s now, but they did so many great tours. They were like almost like the Beatles of the Caribbean, and they also went international as well. And then today you have so many up and coming artists, and then artists known already, Edwin Yearwood with soca, Arturo tapping with jazz, Elan Trotman. My wife Chiquita and I, we had dinner at QP Bistro in Barbados, and they had Arturo tapping, one of our best saxophonists in Barbados, internationally acclaimed. He was there doing entertainment with some singers, man, and they were doing from jazz to reggae to everything. Really, really beautiful evening, So yeah, Brittany is spot on for sure, for sure.
Oh, wonderful. And the chat is just full of great comments. It's so true. That's what makes this community amazing too. Of course, Barbados, but you guys are great. Thank you so much for taking the time to share. You spoiled agents are the absolute best. We just love it.
Thank
Thank you so much. And next question, are print copies available of this brochure?
We want to get some printed. We haven't done it as yet, but the easier option would be to download it. But once we do get some printed copies, we will be disseminating at um, consumer and trade events. But as of now, it's just in soft copy.
Okay. Some clients ask about hotels that have a few restaurants, like more than just two or three. Do you have those bigger properties?
Yeah, not a whole slew of them, but we do. So to be honest, the Sandals hotels would be number one. Between Sandals Barbados and Sandals Royal Barbados, you have like 16 to 18 different restaurants on site. Wyndham Grand Barbados will also get my vote when it comes to different food establishments on property. Um, O2 Beach Club and Spa, they have like two or three, well, actually, no, but four, because they're all inclusive as well. Sea
Hmm.
Breeze Beach House as well. The Crane, they definitely have options. They have an Italian restaurant, they have the Carriage House, they have the Zure, and then there's also the Zen. Zen is a Asian inspired restaurant. So they have four as well. So you have a couple that you can go to that have more than just two or three restaurants. So again, that would be the Sandals Hotels. They're number one for sure. You get um the Crane, you get O2 Beach Club and Spa, Sea Breeze Beach House. And if you're really into it, where money is concerned, you can do Sandy Lane as well. They have a number of options as well, but Sandy Lane is our most exclusive hotel in Barbados. But they have a few options as well. Um, the other all-inclusives, they do, like Marriott all-inclusive, Turtle Beach, Tamarind, and then outside of Marriott, um, Sugar Bay Barbados, they have like three or four, I think maybe five on their site as well. Yeah.
Well, sounds like you have lots of variety. While we're on the subject of dining, would you recommend all-inclusive or maybe not for someone that really loves to try the food of Barbados?
Tough question. Um, Tough question. But I would say maybe not the all-inclusive, right? Because no, not against them. They all do a fantastic job. But if you're really, really into the dining, you want to capitalize on really getting out and exploring. You don't want that all your money is tied up in the all-inclusive and that you can't really get out. But being on the outside, it gives you so many more options to choose from to really enjoy. So for example, I can tell you right off the bat, if you're staying by a hotel that has breakfast included, right? You can do lunch at Chappers, maybe at Pure Ocean, maybe at the Tides. And then for dinner you could do like QP Bistro. So for example, QP Bistro, they have I went there as I said before, and they have a three-course menu running right now. It's $225 Barbados. No, don't get too shocked because as I always tell you, you have the spending power. So 225 divided by two, that gives you what my mouth said, like one six
111.
something like that. Somewhere around there, 120 something, 111, whatever, right? But that's a three-course meal, right? And you get all the top stuff, man. I had some ribs, Sabrina, and then some what I have for dessert. Dessert had a mango cheesecake,
Wow.
mango sorbet. And then for appetizer, I had a pumpkin soup, you know. So I'm not trying to, you know, make you hungry, but the point is that if you're really into the Epicurean experience, the culinary side of things, I think not staying in all inclusive would be good because it gives you the flexibility of once you plan properly and you know where you want to go, you're able to build out stuff like that. And I can, you can write to me. I could give you suggestions of where you can go because forget the fine dining. What about right there in Bridgetown? There are some
Mhm.
historic spots that you could really explore in Bridgetown. I went to a place called Tim's, and this is like Beijing as big as it gets. Growing up in Barbados, everybody know about Tim's, right? And I went back there one Saturday. Actually, it was on my birthday. I went to Bridgetown to run an errand for my wife, and I said, let me get some lunch from Tim's. So I think I had like macaroni pie with chicken and salad. I bought my son lasagna, and my wife, I think I got her like some kind of breadfruit, no, cassava with rice and fish, and it all came to $40 Barbados, which would be 20 US for 3 meals for 3 people. We get
Wow.
that Bayesian flair, So these are things that you don't want to miss out on. There's also Musters right in Bridgetown, one of the oldest restaurants in Barbados, you know, but it overlooks the street. It's beautiful, it's great. One of the top places to eat in Barbados and the world. There is Cousin's Fish Shop with his sandwiches, Caboose down the north, So not staying on all inclusive gives you that flexibility. I would suggest finding a hotel that has breakfast rolled into their rate, which many of them do. So then that gives you the options now of lunch and dinner, really experiencing Barbados without breaking the bank.
Wonderful. No, yes, and you don't have to feel bad when you're out of the hotel all day that you've missed anything because you've not
Correct.
committed to
And
that.
then
Okay.
and then added to that, Sabrina, before you continue, there are so many experiences that have food included in the experiences as well. So let's say, you're staying by a hotel that just has, you have your breakfast, but you've decided, let's go on the islands of Hard today. Or let's go on a catamaran cruise today. Your catamaran has food, so you're
Mhm.
getting snacks, drinks, macaroni pie, rice, chicken, dessert. So you're getting like good Bajan, authentic Bajan food on your boat as well. So even the experiences has food included too. So it gives you the opportunity to enjoy the catamaran life, the sea life, the snorkeling, everything, but you still get good food as well.
Yes, I want to do the lick the bowl one. I love the name already.
That one is
That
nice. That
sounds
one
like
is
the best tour. Okay. Someone asks, I need info on the
nice.
festival and how to get tickets and which hotels are best located to access the festivals.
Right. So it depends on which festival you're referring to. If you're referring to the All Stars that I mentioned, they have a website here that I can show you. Just give me a quick second as I go back
Of
up.
course.
So here's the website here, www.allstarsfestival.org. Um, and the Haman's Market, they are on the western side of the country, so lots of hotels not too far from there. So you would have to take like, a taxi to get from your accommodation to Haman's Market and the Sand Street Bistro, but again, it's not too far in Barbados. Or if you are trying to drive, you can rent a vehicle and drive to it, right? Um, but then other festivals like Cop Over and the Reggae Festival and whatnot, they all have their individual websites. You can Google them to see, the dates for this year. Tickets will be sold on those websites as well. If you're on social media, you can follow them on social media too for updates on when tickets are released. And sometimes they do have information on hotels. But outside of that, you can always go to our website, visit barbados.org for hotel information. Again, we're a small island, so if even the festival website doesn't have anything about hotels, you can easily get accommodation in Barbados and make your way to the venues for the different festivals as well.
Wonderful. Next up, will a recording of this be available? Absolutely, unless I forget to press the button, which 99.9% of the time I always remember. I usually put it on a piece of paper so I don't forget.
Hit record.
But yes, they're all recorded and they're on our YouTube channel and, of course, on our dedicated supplier page, in this case, being the beautiful Barbados. I can share that link, but always, always, so not to worry. Is the marathon only seasonal? Great question.
Yeah, marathons are always the first weekend in December. All right, so this year be the first weekend in December. That's the Run Barbados Marathon. You may find one or two running groups having their own thing in between, but the big Run Barbados Marathon is seasonal, always the first weekend in December. So everything associated with that happens then. That's why the dates for the racecation, if I can just go back there. Uh, here we go. That's why these dates are surrounding the Run Barbados Marathon. So these are last year's dates for these different activities. But the bottom right hand corner, you can see that the Run Barbados Marathon was December 4th to 7th. So the dates for these other activities were around those timelines too, the 6th, the 7th, etc. So it gives you a racecation, as the title suggests, just for that weekend time period.
Wonderful. Okay. Next one. I was wondering if you had a favorite beach in Barbados. Do you recommend renting a car to explore the island?
Renting a car, yes, I would recommend that. I understand that that may pose a little anxiety to you because Barbados we drive on the left, which to us is the right side to drive on the road. Just a little cheeky joke, but I understand that that may be a little apprehensive, but it's quite easy. They run the boats. You just take your time. You give way to any car coming on your right, and once you're clear, then you can go. All right. So I would recommend having a car if you're really into exploring. Again, just like I mentioned with the example of the food, many of the activities they have transportation included as well. So if you're not too sure, you could do activities that have transportation included, so like Harrison's Cave, Island Safari, catamaran cruises, and then for other things that may not have transportation, like Oystins, you can easily get a taxi from your accommodation to Oystins, right? But if you're really into exploring, like you want to go on the East Coast and different restaurants and whatnot, it would be better economically to put that into a car rental and drive to those areas. There is also Uber in Barbados, in case you're wondering. Uber launched in Barbados last year, so Uber is also there. There's also BIM Ride, so we do have ride app, ride share apps in Barbados, so that is also an option. But yeah, you can't go wrong with car rentals either. Yeah. And then the first part of the question was what again?
Your favorite beach. Do you have a favorite beach to recommend?
Favorite beach? Tough question, but I would go with Browns Beach. That's where the boatyard is, and I spent some time there over my lifetime. But that's where one of the closer beaches to where I used to live. So right there in Bridgetown, works perfectly a hive of activity, but depending on where people live, they will go to the beach closest. So there are also some great beaches on the west coast as well. But Browns Beach gets my nod. Boatyard is there, Sabi on the Bay, Copacabana, etc. Harbor Lights. Yeah.
Okay. And someone threw in the chat, I'll grab it quick. What resort do you recommend, if not an all-inclusive, that has a location that's within walking distance of the wonderful cuisine and things like that you mentioned?
Yeah, so I'm thinking somewhere along St. Lawrence Gap for persons who may not be familiar with Barbados. So you're looking at like Davie, South Main, South Gap, um, thinking of those that aren't all inclusive. You could do Hastings as well with Coconut Court, the Rockley, Aqua Beach there in Hastings, Rockley area. Coming towards Bridgetown, you have the Hilton Barbados, beautiful accommodations right there in the heart of Bridgetown. Well, on the outskirts of Bridgetown, but easy to get transportation to and from there. Um, they have like over 350 odd rooms, so it's one of our flagship hotels in Barbados. On the west coast, you're looking at you know Fairmont Royal Pavilion. Um, some others come to mind as well. Yeah, so those would be a few. But you can look at our website, visitbarbados.org. You have the section that says places to stay, and they will have the section for all inclusives, and then the other sections now for the boutique hotels and so forth. So any others in that boutique hotel section, mid-level resort, etc., will be options that you can choose from, which are not all inclusive.
Wonderful. Yeah, the site is a great resource, and probably you might learn about that even in the specialist program with the Elite Club. And don't
Yeah, for
forget,
sure.
every booking that you make, you get to earn for. So don't forget that information is also on Spoiled Agent, where you can record your bookings. Of course, I'm sure you'll find that information on Barbados Elite Club as well. I'll throw the link in. I think, did I ask you this? I'm sorry. Where will the new Royalton Vescents be located?
The new White Investments, I think that is on the west coast, so
Okay.
this area. Mm.
Okay. And can this info be sent to us for the All-Star Festival as well as a crop over? I can just leave that question with the email in for you, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then that's easy to leave there. Okay. What do you recommend for large family group venues, mostly adults who love food and cultural experiences?
Large families, like just eating out, or you mean like hotels?
That's a good question. I think culturally out, I'm not sure.
Just,
I'm
just,
guessing.
just, just. Well, let me answer it both ways. If you're looking at experiences like outside of the hotel or outside of accommodation, I mean, quite frankly,
Hotels,
and
she says. Sorry, Jason. She
hotels.
says,
Okay, so
thanks.
for hotel accommodations, I would suggest a few things. Number one, I would suggest a villa option. Now, people hear villas and they think, oh my God, it's too expensive. But villas normally priced by, space. So you may get X amount for one night for the villa. So if it's a large family, let's say 10 people, you could divide that total between the 10 versus a hotel who may charge you per person, per room, per night, right? So I would suggest that. And then the villas give you the option now, if you want something nice and fun and cultural, you could work with a villa to have a chef come in and the entire family do some kind of a cooking experience, learning to cook, like a nice Bajan dish, or you could do a mixologist coming in and doing something like that as well. Or you could do like arts and craft. Like the village give you the opportunity to do things together collectively without having to go through the whole rigmarole of, people coming on property and whatnot, and they have the partners in Barbados that they can work with just to make it a nice holistic family experience. So there's that. Also, the villas for hotels, uh, properties like O2, which have and Seabreeze Beach House, which have the adjoining rooms, would be good. Um, the crane will also be a good spot as well because their accommodations you can have like 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms in one space, but you have like a common kitchen and common bathroom, or like it can be our ensuite bathrooms, common kitchen, common living areas, but separate bedrooms with en-suites. Um, St. Peter's Bay, one of my favorites, a similar setup as well, where you have their room is like a 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom setup. So I recall staying there many years ago with my Italian fiance and now wife. It was just she and I, and we turned the key and went inside, and maybe had we could sleep in different rooms if you wanted to, Uh, there was a
So much
master
space.
bedroom with an ensuite. There was another room with an ensuite, a room for kids. You had the kitchen, you had a jacuzzi, you had the dining table on the balcony. You even had a private elevator to the beach that we could have
What?
taken a private elevator to the beach. So that would be an option as well. So you're looking at villas, but also hotels that have like condo type accommodation. That would be great as well. That everyone could be in their separate personal quarters, but they could be together for activities. And again, activities could be brought to you as opposed to you having to go to places. You can go to places as well, and you can go anywhere, any restaurant, any activity on the island that the entire family can enjoy. But then having that space with the family, it gives you the option to have activities come to you, make it nice and memorable as well.
Okay, fantastic. And I know we have hit the 1 hour mark. If anyone has to run, please, by all means, we understand. And we know those of you want to stay and you're learning so much. I'm learning so much. So please feel free to stay, but don't feel that you have to stay on the line if you need to run. We understand you're busy and you want to go and get booking Barbados. Candy, sorry, when is the best month to come, would you say?
Best month to come is every month.
I was going to say.
if you could come once a month, 12 trips in a year, that would be great. But it all depends on what you're looking for. Right now, December to April being lowest peak season, so for some people it's good to get away from the cold and just be in the warmth of Barbados, during the winter season. For others, they want to come during the summer when you have a lot more summer festivals happening, of course, Cup Over being the biggest. Others may want to come in as a food and rum festival, which is like October, November. Others want to come when it's Run Barbados Marathon for the racecation. So it all depends on what you're looking for. But it is always a good time to come to Barbados. I always tell people that there is a rainy season slash hurricane season in Barbados, that goes June 1st to November 30th. Thankfully, Barbados, we have not been affected. We do sit outside the hurricane belt, so most systems pass us as, storms or depressions, whatnot. But of course, that climate change has been very unpredictable in recent times. But you know, God has continued to keep us. So I will alert you of that. But other than that, it's always a good time to come to Barbados.
Wonderful. And which resort has the best calm, swimmable beach?
Anything on the West Coast, um,
Okay.
because when you look at Barbados and our location, on the right hand side of us, the eastern side of Barbados is the Atlantic Ocean. So any accommodations in the Atlantic on the Atlantic side or east southeast would have like more choppy waters. So like Wyndham Grand, for example, the Crane, those waters aren't suited for swimming. Those hotels do offer beach shuttles to the beach included in your experience at the hotel, where you could go to the beach, have a great beach day, right? But anywhere on the West Coast, which is watched by the Caribbean Sea, is your spot for here's by hotels. So we're looking at some of the Marriott all inclusives over there, some of the smaller boutique hotels like the Sandpiper and Coral Reef Club, Royal Pavilion as well, the same St. Peter's Bay. Any of them, would be great for beach access.
Okay. And someone asked, what about Airbnbs in Barbados? Recommend? Question mark. You said you just stayed at one, right?
Yes. So I will admit to you that I do stay at Airbnbs. I have stayed at Airbnbs when I go home on a vacation sometimes.
Sometimes you
Um,
have to, yeah.
yeah, and I do recommend it. The one that we stayed at recently was in the villages at Corvedy, which I mentioned to you for the pickleball. Um, and they were great. I liked it there. We were able to like in that residential community is almost like a gated community, but there's no physical gate. But everyone knows that that's a community in of itself. But there's a supermarket there, a gas station, enterprise car rentals are there as well, and a few others. A medical center is also there. There's a spa. You get different coffee shops, eateries, etc. There, banks, gym, dental office. Um, Also, it was good for us, for my family and the other Airbnbs too, across the island, in great areas as well. So I would recommend it. Just make sure you do your due diligence, and your research. Look for hosts that have good reviews. Those that are um, super hosts, etc. as well. But do know that I don't think I stand corrected, but I know that over time there was discussion on having Airbnbs regulated in Barbados. Um, but that was a big discussion. So just remember to do your research because you want to make sure that, God forbid anything happens, you have the appropriate coverage. Um, Barbados, for our safety, but of course, anything can happen anywhere. And Barbados is not, we're not, we're not beyond that, right? But I was fine. People do it all the time. It's good. I know people who have Airbnbs in Barbados, so I do recommend that as well.
Okay. And if you don't want to drive, can you arrange for a shuttle from the resort? You said that there's ride share services and apps.
Yeah, there are taxis, rideshare apps in Barbados, Uber, Bim Ride. Taxis again, a lot of the accommodations have taxis, so and that they partner with. And then depending on what you're doing, the activities have transportation included, where they will pick you up, take you to the activity, and bring you back as well. Uh, so yeah, there are options.
I have to remember my colleague went to Barbados, Susan Koyman. Actually, I brought her on the webinar last time. I should have brought her
Last
this
time.
time. She threw a comment in here. Thank you for watching, Susan. She said, we loved Barbados. We rented a villa with three other couples. We got out every day and did local excursions to immerse ourselves in the local culture. Thanks,
Sweet.
Susan, for that reminder. That's true. She's a great testament. She just went in the last few months. We were all so jealous. Um, and on that note about the villas, someone's asking if you can pre-arrange for a private chef. I am adding the link here
Yeah.
to the villas that is on the Barbados tourism website, just in
Yeah.
case, but I don't know if you want to make a note of anything, Jason.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. You could certainly prearrange. We have villas that span different categories. So, villas with all the bells and whistles, chef, butler, etc. Down to private homes as well. So, yeah, that is not a problem at all. All the villa management companies, they have the different chefs that they work with. So that definitely can be prearranged for sure. That's easy.
Okay, and this is an interesting question. It may, especially if those of you are new to Spoiled Agent. Someone asked, if you book through Spoiled Agent for clients, do our points go directly through Spoiled Agent, or do we have to record them on Spoiled Agent ourselves? So you don't do any bookings with us. We are here just for the fun and the love and helping you to get connected with our supplier partners. Think of us as a bridge or a library, if you will, between the suppliers that are out there, tourism suppliers that work with agents and that love to pamper agents just like ourselves. Barbados is the perfect example of that. And so you would never make a booking through us at all in any way. We're just bringing you the info and helping to connect you with the amazing suppliers out there that work with agents and that have perks for you. And hopefully that answers that question. And that brings us to our last question. While the agents had a great winter rest and they were ready with lots of questions. Wow, that was pretty record making there. We had dozens and dozens, so that was fabulous. Jason, we're making you work today.
That's
We
that, that's fine. I'm here to answer your questions as best I can.
Yeah, no, you did great. I mean, there's no one better because, of course, you're local. You've been doing this for such a long time and you sacrificed yourself. You said, and you just went for 3.5 weeks. What a great
Mm.
guy. Thank you for doing that for us. So you could tell us
Oh,
all about it and
my
experience
pleasure.
everything firsthand.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
It's a sacrifice, but someone has to do it, right?
I guess so. I guess so.
Wonderful. Well, I would just like to say thanks to everyone. Thanks for all your comments and your feedback, of course, on our channels. It's always a pleasure seeing you here online. And I'll invite Jason, of course, to share any final words.
Yeah, no, again, thank you so much, Sabrina, for, having Barbados on. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you to all the agents who signed on and for those who stayed to the very end as well, for your time, for your interest. And again, Barbados, we just want that you guys come, your clients come and have a wonderful time on the island. We're all about the experience. We want that when you come to Barbados and you leave Barbados, you have a memorable experience. We're not just about keeping you inside, but we want to be outside. Yeah, I always say that. So, we look forward to welcoming you and we're here to assist you in however way that we can.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Hopefully, we'll all be going to Barbados really soon. Okay.
Yes, looking forward
Thank
to
you
it.
all. Have a
Thank you all. Have
wonderful
a good
rest of
day.
your day. See you soon.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.